Let's dive into a hot topic that's been burning up the skincare world: sunscreen. You've probably heard a lot of conflicting things about sunscreen. Some say it's essential for protecting your skin, while others claim it could be doing more harm than good. So what's the truth? Let's break it down. Did you know that skin cancer is the most common cancer in the United States? According to the Skin Cancer Foundation, more than 9,500 people are diagnosed with skin cancer every day, and 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. And it's not just about cancer. The sun's ultraviolet or UV rays are responsible for up to 90% of visible skin aging. Sounds like a pretty strong case for sunscreen, right? But hold on, it's not that simple. Sunscreen research has raised concerns about the safety of some of its ingredients. Certain sunscreens contain chemicals that have been fueling an ongoing debate about potential health and environmental risks. So, is sunscreen a lifesaver or a hidden danger? Stick around as we dive into the science, the controversies, and everything in between. What is sunscreen? Sunscreen, also known as sunblock or sun cream, is a photoprotective topical product designed to shield the skin from the harmful effects of ultraviolet or UV radiation. It's supposed to help prevent sunburn, reduce the risk of skin cancer, and slow down the signs of aging caused by sun exposure. There are 2 primary types of sunscreens: mineral or physical, and chemical. Each type works differently to protect the skin from UV rays. Mineral sunscreens contain active ingredients like zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. These ingredients sit on the skin's surface and physically block UV rays by reflecting and scattering them away from the skin. This type of sunscreen is often recommended for people with sensitive skin because it's less likely to cause irritation. Zinc oxide provides broad-spectrum protection against both UVA and UVB rays. It is known for its safety and effectiveness, but can leave a white cast on the skin. Titanium dioxide also offers broad-spectrum protection, but is often combined with other ingredients to enhance its effectiveness against UVA rays. Chemical sunscreens, on the other hand, contain organic compounds like oxybenzone, avobenzone, and octinoxate. These ingredients absorb UV radiation and convert it into heat, which is then released from the skin. Chemical sunscreens tend to have a lighter texture and are easier to apply without leaving a residue. Oxybenzone absorbs UVB and short UVA rays, but has been linked to potential health and environmental concerns, including hormone disruption and coral reef damage. Avobenzone provides broad-spectrum protection, but is not photostable, meaning it can degrade when exposed to sunlight unless stabilized by other ingredients. Octinoxate, or OMC, primarily absorbs UVB rays and is known for its good photostability, but it may have endocrine-disrupting effects. The controversies and concerns. One of the most hotly debated topics in the sunscreen world revolves around the safety of its chemical ingredients. Oxybenzone, a common UV filter, has been found in the bloodstream of 97% of Americans. This raises significant concerns about its potential as an endocrine disruptor, which could interfere with hormone function. Studies have shown that oxybenzone can mimic estrogen and potentially lead to developmental and reproductive issues. Does sunscreen weaken your skin's natural ability to block harmful UV rays? A study by researchers at the University of California, Riverside found that certain UV filters in sunscreens such as OMC, benzophenone 3, and octocrylene can penetrate the skin and generate reactive oxygen species, or ROS, when exposed to UV radiation. ROS are highly reactive molecules that can cause oxidative damage to cellular components, including DNA, lipids, and proteins. This oxidative stress can potentially weaken the skin's natural defenses and lead to increased skin aging and damage if sunscreen is not reapplied frequently to maintain surface coverage. Sunscreen's effectiveness depends on regular reapplication throughout sun exposure. However, some argue that this frequent reapplication is not just to maintain the sunscreen's protective benefits, but also to mitigate any potential harm from the sunscreen ingredients themselves. This creates a cycle where more sunscreen is required to counter the hypothetical negative effects of previous applications. While evidence for sunscreen toxicity is inconclusive, this view questions the long-term impacts of constant reapplication. reef-safe sunscreen. While reef-safe sunscreens are marketed as environmentally friendly alternatives, the reality is more complex. Even mineral sunscreens, which use zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, can have harmful effects on marine life. These ingredients can still cause oxidative stress and damage to coral reefs, especially when they are in nanoparticle form. This has led some experts to argue that no sunscreen is truly reef-safe. Vitamin D deficiency. Another controversy is whether or not sunscreen contributes to vitamin D deficiency. Vitamin D is crucial for bone health and immune function, and it's synthesized in the skin through sun exposure. Some studies suggest that excessive use of sunscreen could inhibit this process, leading to deficiencies. However, other research indicates that normal use of sunscreen does not significantly impact vitamin D levels, as people typically do not apply it thickly or frequently enough to block all UVB rays. Photodegradation and toxic byproducts. Chemical sunscreens can also undergo photodegradation, breaking down into potentially toxic byproducts when exposed to sunlight. These byproducts can increase the risk of skin irritation and other adverse effects, prompting more research into the long-term safety of these ingredients and their byproducts. Regulatory and safety concerns. Despite these concerns, regulatory bodies like the FDA and the European Commission continue to endorse the use of sunscreens, emphasizing their role in preventing skin cancer. However, they also call for more comprehensive studies to fully understand the implications of long-term exposure to sunscreen chemicals. The FDA has even requested additional safety data from manufacturers to ensure that these products are safe for widespread use. Now that we have covered all the controversies and concerns about sunscreen, let's talk about the expert opinions. Dermatologists overwhelmingly support the use of sunscreen. A survey of 165 US dermatologists found that 97% agree that regular use of sunscreen helps lower the risk of skin cancer, and 100% agree that it reduces photoaging. Nearly all dermatologists, 96%, consider FDA-approved sunscreens to be safe, and 99% recommend that their family and friends use sunscreen. Several well-conducted randomized controlled trials, or RCTs, provide robust evidence supporting the efficacy of sunscreen in preventing skin cancer. For instance, a large RCT involving 1,621 adults in Australia found a 40% lower incidence of squamous cell carcinoma among participants who used sunscreen daily compared to those who used it at their discretion. Additionally, the study showed a significantly reduced risk of invasive melanoma among regular sunscreen users. These findings highlight the critical role of sunscreen in cancer prevention. Despite the strong support for sunscreen, some ingredients remain controversial. Oxybenzone, for example, is often criticized for its potential as an endocrine disruptor and its environmental impact on coral reefs. However, many dermatologists believe that the benefits of using sunscreen containing oxybenzone outweigh the potential risks. In fact, 91% of dermatologists surveyed consider oxybenzone to be safe. This discrepancy between public perception and expert opinion highlights the need for better communication and education about sunscreen ingredients. Historical context and skin cancer rates. Before the invention of modern sunscreen, people employed various natural methods to protect their skin from the sun. Ancient Egyptians used rice bran, jasmine, and lupine to create pastes that absorb UV light, while the Greeks applied olive oil, which has a natural SPF. Indigenous peoples around the world used mud, clay, and plant extracts as physical barriers against the sun. Despite these methods, skin cancer rates were historically lower, which can be attributed to several factors. People spent less time in direct sunlight due to different lifestyles and clothing that covered more skin. Additionally, the ozone layer was thicker, providing more natural protection against UV radiation. However, it's important to note that skin cancer was not as well documented or diagnosed in the past, which could contribute to the perception of lower incidence rates. How to use sunscreen effectively. If you choose to use sunscreen, the most effective way is by following the instructions on the specific sunscreen packaging you purchased, as each sunscreen type and manufacturer may have different methods of use. That said, the most effective way to prevent skin cancer and premature aging is by limiting your exposure to direct sunlight. Getting 15 to 20 minutes of sun exposure at a time, with or without sunscreen, provides significant health benefits with minimal risk. but it's important to give your skin a break as well. Aim to spend at least an equal amount of time in indirect sunlight or complete shade after sun exposure. This allows your skin time to recover from the potential damage caused by the sun's UV rays. When you do use sunscreen, some general tips are to use enough to adequately cover all exposed areas, about 1 ounce for the body and a teaspoon for the face. Apply it 15 to 30 minutes before going outside to allow it to absorb. And remember to reapply every 2 hours, especially after swimming or sweating heavily. Choosing a broad spectrum sunscreen of at least SPF 30 will provide the most protection. The key is striking a healthy balance, getting some daily sun exposure for vitamin D production and other benefits, while not overdoing it to the point of burning or damaging your skin. Sunscreen can help when you need to be out longer, but it's not a license for excess. Moderation and good judgment are your best defenses against UV-related skin damage and premature aging. It's important to seek shade during peak sun hours, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wear protective clothing like long-sleeve shirts, pants, wide-brimmed hats, and sunglasses, and avoid tanning beds completely. Remember, there is no such thing as a healthy tan. Any change in your natural skin color is a sign of damage. Be smart about your sun exposure, and your skin will thank you for years to come. Sunscreen is a powerful tool in the fight against skin cancer and premature aging, but its use is not without controversy. While dermatologists and scientific studies strongly support its benefits, concerns about chemical ingredients, environmental impact, and potential health risks persist. By understanding the different types of sunscreens, their proper application, and the ongoing debates, you can make informed choices that balance protection with safety. Remember, the key to effective sun protection is not just using sunscreen, but using it correctly. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and share it with others. Stay informed, stay protected, and enjoy the sun responsibly.